The sea is many things to many people. Some live on it, a few live under it. Russ Lowell and Chris Walters were deep-sea divers. The three of us had been friends for a long time. I hadn't seen them for a couple of years. Yesterday I received a wire from Russ. There was serious trouble. I grabbed the first available plane.
Russ.
Mike, it's good to see you.
I came as soon as I got your wire. What is it?
Let's discuss it over a cup of coffee, huh?
Sure. Just coffee.
2 coffees, Patty.
Any cigarette?
No, thanks.
Thomas, what's it all about?
Remember when Chris and I saw you last?
Yeah, several years ago. Dominican Republic. You both had high hopes of salvaging a treasure of some kind.
Yeah, the old Spanish galleons of the Plata Flota. 24 million bucks laying down there on the reefs.
No luck, huh? Sure?
No thanks. We got in the middle of a hurricane out on the Silver Shoals. Just got out of it with our skins. Chris and I had to split up until we could get another stake. I came back and got a job salvage diving for the Navy.
What happened to Chris?
Chris got mixed up with a fast crowd. Got in a jam. Went to jail for a while. From there, Skid Row.
Skid Row? I thought he was working with you.
He was until last month. I got us hired as a team by Atlas Steamship Lines to salvage a freighter that had gone down just off the banks with a cargo of silver plate. One night, a pirate salver came in and lifted about $10,000 worth. With Chris's record and knowledge of where the wreck lay, he was the natural patsy.
Yeah. Is he in jail now?
No, I got him out on bail, but he's on his way back to where I found him the last time, Skid Row.
I started to cover the spots around Skid Row. I wanted to find Chris. I wanted to hear his side of the story. I was positive there had to be an explanation. Chris was a lot of things, even hot-tempered, but I was sure he wasn't a thief. I wondered if he was being framed. Then suddenly I thought about his record. I hadn't known he'd spent time in jail. Maybe he'd changed. Maybe he'd gone off the deep end. I figured I'd know as soon as I found him. Hello, Chris. What's so funny?
A worm. A crazy cockeyed worm. Nearly 8 years. A joint like this. You walk in and say, "Hello, Chris." Just like that.
Let's get out of here.
Where are you going to take me? Uptown? Introduce me to your friends? Great. Real great. Chris Walters. One of those exciting deep-sea divers. Dives for treasures, you know. Except, it's going to be a matter of a few years off pretty soon. I got a little matter of jail to take care of again.
Now, wait a minute.
You wait a minute. I want you to let me work this out in my own way. It's my life.
Chris, did you rob that ship?
You'll mind your own business. You'll mind your own business, Mike, or I'm going to lean on you hard. Thank Russ for trying anyway, huh?
As you say, it's your life.
Mike, you're going to see Mary and Joni before you leave.
Yeah. Russ asked me over. A little party to celebrate Joni's graduation from junior high.
Well, then you could do something for me.
Sure.
I was going to mail it, but maybe you'll give it to Joni for me, huh?
Why don't you give it to her yourself?
I thought we had that straight. You were going to mind your own business.
Chris wasn't a very convincing actor. I knew he hadn't told me the truth. Now I had to find out why. The next logical move was to find the man who fired the grand theft charges against him. Bill Basie, chief salvage engineer for the Atlas Company.
Shiftless bunch, these salvers. Seem to think as they live under the sea, they can make their own rules of behavior.
Is that why you filed a criminal charge against Chris Walters?
Not by a long shot. He lifted $10,000 in silver plate off of that sunken tub.
You sure it was Walters who took it?
He took it all right. You ever stop to look at his record? Look, the Aleutian Queen founded off the Greenbanks in 40 fathoms. We spent 2 months locating her, and another 2 months breaking below the port where the stuff is stored.
And?
And in one night, somebody dives down and picks one whole section clean, just like he'd been there before.
You figure Walters doubled back on another boat and made the dive?
Well, it had to be him, or Russ Lowell. And Lowell was at the ice capades with his daughter the evening it happened. We checked. Tough break for Lowell.
Why?
Well, Walters and he were doing a good job. We were going to give him a bonus. And the way we get it, Lowell could have used it, too.
Go on.
Thought you knew them both well.
I haven't seen him for a long time.
Well, this kid was a hit-and-run victim. Broke her up pretty bad.
Joni. I didn't know.
Well, most of it's behind him now. Most of it but the bills.
Thanks, Basie. Thanks very much.
All right.
Oh, ice skates. Oh, they're figures.
Remember what we told you last year? As soon as you got rid of the crutches, we'd get them for you.
I'll be using them soon. You'll see.
This may not be so athletic, but since you're almost a woman, I think you'll like it.
Oh, perfume. Oh, Uncle Mike. Oh, it's such a nice party. It had been perfect if Uncle Chris had come.
Well, just because he couldn't come doesn't mean he forgot you. He asked me to give you this.
Oh, a brooch. Oh, a beautiful old brooch. Joni, dear, you know there is very little in the world that would have kept me away from your celebration tonight. And with this brooch, I send my love to you. Throughout your life, take care of it, Joni. It belonged to my mother. Love, Uncle Chris.
More coffee, Mike?
No, thanks.
You know, Mike, since our last trouble, Chris has been avoiding us. I suppose he's ashamed, but he shouldn't be. We all know he's innocent, Mike. Don't you think he's innocent?
I don't know. Joni thinks the world of Chris, doesn't she?
Oh, he spoils her. Makes her think the world's one big bed of roses.
Joni knows better than that. I saw Bill Basie today. He told me about it. Russ, will she ever use those skates?
We don't know, Mike. No one does.
You know, Joni will want you to sign her autograph book. She's made you sort of a legend to her friends, and this will be proof that you're real.
What's this?
You know teenagers, they save everything. Ticket stubs from the ice capades. Oh, Joni and Russ have sort of a special date each month. Do something extra special, and last month it was the ice capade.
I see.
Mike, keep me posted on Chris. We've got to help him somehow.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we can help him at that. Goodbye, Mary. Thanks.
Goodbye, Mike.
Bye, Mike.
Bye, Russ. Thanks again. Bill Basie was right. Russ had taken Joni to the ice show the night of the robbery, but I was positive the ticket stubs were for seats located at opposite ends of the arena. Maybe Russ had stayed to see the show, and maybe he hadn't. No matter which it was, For me, it wasn't going to have a happy ending, because either Chris was guilty or Russ had lied. The following morning, I went to the arena. The ticket locations were opposite one another, and I went to several doctors and a couple of hospitals. With each visit, I learned a little more, until finally all the pieces fell into shape. I understood now why Chris had told me to mind my own business, and in a way, I wished I had. Now it was too late. Come in.
Mike, I thought I told you to lay off. What do you want now?
I want to ask you something. You're pretty fond of Joni, aren't you?
Like she was my own kid.
Is that why you're playing patsy for Russ?
So long, Mike. Next time you're in town, maybe we can get together.
Russ did go to that show with Joni, all right. But they were sitting half a block apart. He could have left, got that silver, and been back by the end of the performance.
Don't make me sorry I ever knew you.
Then I did some checking this morning. Hospitals, doctors. In the last month, all of Joni's medical bills have been paid. How did he do it, Chris?
Lay off, Mike.
How did he do it? Come on, fella. Sit down, huh? You haven't answered my question. How did he do it?
You weren't here. You don't know what it was like for Russ and Mary those 2 years. Joni was an active kid. Real active. And then for weeks, months, all he could do was sit there and watch her waste away. She wasn't even able to talk or cry when she was in pain. I know, they told me. First it was their car and the house. Then Russ put himself in hock enough for 2 lifetimes. It still wasn't enough. Somehow he managed to get what he needed for Joni. Well, you saw her last night. She's on her feet again. She's going to be healthy and normal like other kids. Mike, don't you see? Russ was going crazy. He needed the money more than he needed life. Now do as I say, please. Let me pay him back in the only way I know how. Russ is needed, I'm not.
Is he willing to let you take the rap for him?
Mike, let me work this out my own way, please. When I go into court next week, I'm going to have a confession all nice and memorized. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Chris had figured the whole thing out his own way, and he was right. There wasn't anything I could do about it. The next day I headed for the school and Joni's graduation. I wanted to see Russ. I had an idea, and if it worked, Chris wouldn't have to sign a phony confession.
Well, Mike, what do you think of that gal of mine?
You should be very proud of her.
We are.
You should be a little proud of yourselves, too. Hasn't been easy, has it?
But it's been worth it. Well, you two stay and talk while I go get Joni.
Yeah.
Anything new on Chris?
Yeah.
You're going to be able to get him out of this?
He's going to confess.
Confess? But why?
I assume because he's guilty. I'll have to get back to my hotel and start packing. I'm leaving on the 6 o'clock plane. Call me before I leave, will you?
Yeah, sure.
I kept hoping he'd call me back. But Russ just stood there staring. In the next couple of hours, I waited for some word from him. I couldn't believe that Russ wouldn't get Chris off the hook. And then someone knocked on my door. Russ, come in.
You know why I'm here, don't you?
Yeah. Want a cigarette?
No, thanks.
Ross, there's one thing that bothers me. Why did you send me that wire? Why did you ask me to help Chris?
Mike, I've asked myself that question 1,000 times. I guess I was a fool. When they picked him up for the job, I didn't know what to do. Never figured because he had a record, he'd become the #1 on the list. And then I thought about you. The more I thought, the more I turned dreamer. I figured you'd be able to clear Chris. I made another mistake. It didn't occur to me that in helping Chris, you would involve me. Then I found out you'd been checking my medical bills, and I knew you had the whole story. You know something, Mike? I'm glad it's over. I wouldn't have been able to take much more. What's the next move, Mike?
Tell the police the truth. Yeah, I know it's going to be tough.
I'll take that cigarette now.
Sure.
Mike, everything's going to be okay now. I should have done it a long time ago.
It was over now, but I didn't feel very good. I kept thinking of Joni and Mary. And then I got an idea. I went to Bill Basie. I asked him if the $10,000 was returned, would he get his company to drop the criminal charges? I told him it was more important than anything he'd ever done. Basie said he'd do everything possible. I said he'd get a certified check in the morning. I tried to reach Russ to tell him that everything might work out, but there was no answer at his house. I kept hoping that Basie could convince his company to go along with me. Come in.
I hope you're proud, real proud.
Couldn't have ended any other way.
Don't tell me. Tell his wife and kid. Maybe they'll thank you for killing him.
For what?
I just got this letter by special messenger. Russ says he's also written one to the police, and he says a lot more. It reads like a last will and testament.
You know where he's gone?
Take your choice. Top of a building or in front of a heavy truck.
Operator line, please. The line's busy at the house. How long will it take you to get over there?
5 minutes by cab.
That'll do it. See if Mary knows where he's gone.
I told you I hope you'd never make me sorry I knew you. I think you have.
Operator, give me the Atlas Salvage Company. Here. Hello, Atlas Salvage Company. Is Russ Lowell there? Thanks. Chris was at the top of a building or in front of a truck. He forgot the bottom of the sea. I hired the fastest boat I could get and headed for the Green Bank salvage operation. I kept hoping I wasn't too late.
What are you doing out here?
Where's Russ?
You're standing right on top of him.
Is he all right?
Well, he's been in 40 fathoms for over an hour. With his rig, 20 minutes is tops. He's got the bends for sure. Maybe he's dead.
Why haven't you pulled him up?
We tried, but he seems to be stuck. I got on after him, but I got busted lung. And these other monkeys wouldn't be caught dead in anything over backed up deep.
Get me ready.
Look, diving is not like walking in a park.
You're wasting time.
Biggie, get the other rig ready. Maybe it's too late.
We'll never find out standing here. The one big question had been, what did Russ hope to accomplish by destroying himself? Basie told me. The Atlas Company carried a $25,000 life insurance policy on its divers in case they were killed while working. Russ must have figured his policy would pay back the stolen money, free Chris, and still leave some for his family. Then I spotted him.
Lanyard, you see anything?
Yeah, I just spotted him.
He alive?
Come down here. Russ had lodged himself so no one could free him without coming down. He knew Basie had a bad lung, and that no one else was aboard who could dive. He was out cold, and I couldn't tell whether he was alive or dead. Bring us up fast. We'll have to sit it out in the tank.
You're
I
crazy.
said make it fast.
Charlie, get the decompression tank ready. Piggy, get on that winch, fast.
Minutes seemed like hours as we started at 40 fathoms, then 30, then 20. I wondered if the nitrogen bubbles had touched Russ's brain. If so, I was bringing up a dead man. And then suddenly I felt blackness pouring over me. It was almost pleasant. And then I felt nothing. The hissing sounds began to make sense to me. We were in a decompression tank. My lungs felt like they were on
You okay?
fire.
You okay?
Slowly the oxygen began to cool him. I looked at Russ. He didn't seem to be breathing. Then his eyelids flickered and he took a short breath. I said a quiet prayer of thanks. Yeah. I'm all right.
Lowell, did he make it?
Yeah. He made it.
I'm glad.
You're not alone.
Mike. And that's for all of us.
Bill Basie called today. He said the boss was softened up a lot by getting that check of yours. The old man isn't going to prosecute. You'll get it back, Mike. Every cent.
I know I will.
We'll hit it this time. We'll really hit it. That sunken fleet is still off the shoals, and we'll find it. You're a full partner, Mike. Your $10,000 is going to be a good investment. But wait and see.
It's already a good investment. Maybe the best I ever made.